Hey, first grade, it's Miss Douglas. Again, we are on day number 8 of our math workshop. That means we're on day number 8 in our week 2 distance learning packet as well. So this is the time if you have any spare paper or blank paper or at the back of a page that is not being used, you can write on that for your math lesson today since you ran out of paper for our math workshop packet. I'm so impressed with the work that you guys did yesterday. You guys have been getting super duper good at counting. Your parents have been telling me all the great things you've been doing today. You are going to be able to show off your counting skills by counting to bigger numbers, counting forward to bigger numbers, and then counting backwards. This is going to be so helpful as you add and subtract in story problems and when you add and subtract in number sentences. Going forward to bigger numbers is when we add, and then going backwards to smaller numbers is when we subtract. So that's really going to help you get the action down in the story. So our thinking job, say my thinking job is, how can I count forward or backward from any number? So one of the things we've been talking about is that numbers have patterns. And we talked about this yesterday. We talked about how numbers have patterns. And we can look in the ones place, the tens place, we can look in the columns, we can look in the rows, so we can count forward and we can count backwards to find missing numbers or certain numbers. Using those strategies is going to help us count forward and count backward, okay? So that's our thinking job. How can I count forward or count backward from any number? So today in our game, we're going to count forward and we're going to count backwards. To do this, let's practice counting backwards from a few numbers, just like we counted forward before in like Count Around the Room or Count Around the Classroom at school. We're going to use some of the tools that we've done before, like the 100s chart, like this, like the number line, like counting onward, counting by tens, counting by fives. Those are all strategies to help us count forward and to help us count backwards. So in order to do that, we are going to count backwards. Remember, counting backwards, the numbers get smaller. The numbers get smaller. They get what? Yes, they get smaller. So we are going to start with the number 28. And we are going to count backwards from 28. Remember, when we count backwards, the numbers get smaller. We learned yesterday this is the tens place and this is the ones place. If the numbers are getting smaller, I'm thinking about what place is going to change. Is the tens place going to change or the ones place going to change? I'm counting backwards. 29, 28, 27, counting with me, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Great job. So we counted backwards from 28 and we got all the way to 20. 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 21, 22, 21, and then 20. We're going to try it again. This time, I'm going to give you an even harder number. Remember, when we count backwards, the numbers get, yes, they get smaller. So here is a new number. We're going to start at 50, and we're going to count backwards from 50. Remember, we can use different things to help us count backwards from 50. So since I'm a little tricked on 50, I'm going to use my 100 chart to help me count backwards. Here is my 100 chart, and I'm counting backwards. So 50, I have to count backwards from 50. 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41. Remember, when I count backwards, my numbers get, yes, they get smaller. So I'm going to write that. I started with 50. Oopsies. And I'm counting backwards. The numbers are going to get smaller. And I said it was 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41. When I count backwards, my numbers are getting smaller. Wait, let's look at some patterns we see. I see in my ones column, which is right here, my numbers are getting smaller. They're getting smaller. And I look at my ones place, which is this guy. My number also got smaller. It went from 5 to 4s. But why are all of these 4s, I wonder? Think about that. Why are those 4s? Yes, because those are that's the 40s, right? There's 4 10s in each of those numbers. 4 10s. That's what makes it 40. 49, 48, 47, 46, and so on and so forth. Okay. Let's try another one. Let's start. Actually, you guys did a really good job. We're going to stop there. Remember, when we count backwards, the numbers get smaller. When we count forward, the numbers get bigger. They get bigger. So our thinking job was how can I count forward or backwards from any number? So we are going to play a game today. You guys did such a good job counting backwards. So we're going to play a game. And our game is called Start With, Get To. So I have all these cool numbers in front of me right now. And we are going to play the game together. But before that, let's go over the rules. Rule number 1. Say rule number 1. You're going to draw a number. And you're going to start with that number. So you're going to start with the number that you drew. So for example, Miss Douglas drew 7. That's the number that I'm going to start with. And then rule number 2, say rule number 2. You're going to draw another number. And that's the number that you're going to get to. And I drew the number 12, which apparently I lost, but I did draw it one time. The number 12. So the rule number 3, say rule number 3, you're going to start counting with the first number. So I drew a 7. I'm going to start counting at 7. Here's where I started counting. You're going to take turns. So I'm trying to get to 12, and the last rule says you're going to end with your second number. So that's my second number I did with. And that's the first number. So I'm going to start from 7, and I'm going to try to get to 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? So on your scratch paper today, I'm going to give you a number you're going to start with, and I'm going to give you a number that you're going to end with. We're going to play this game together for a couple of rounds, and then you're going to play the game by yourself. Okay, so here we go. Remember, rule number 1 is draw a number. Start with that number. Closing my eyes, I'm drawing a number. Remember, and we can count backwards or we can count forward from any number. All right, my first number we're going to start with 8, and we're going to get to 2. So we're going to start from 8 and get to 2. Who can tell me if we're going to count forward or count backwards? Remember, when we count backwards, the numbers get smaller. When we count forward, the numbers get bigger. Are we counting forward or are we counting backwards? If you said backwards, you are correct. We are starting at 8 and we're going to get to 2. The numbers are going to get smaller. So on your paper, you can write 8 over here. Just ignore this right here. And you can write 2 over here. And we're trying to go from 8 to 2. So remember, we can help use our 100 chart to help us count those numbers. Or we can count this way. So 8, I know if I'm counting on to 8 from 2, I'm going to go 3 because that's right next to it, right? And then I know 7 is small, and 8, so I'm going to put 7 right there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. If you got that, you are correct. Great job. Next one. Closing my eyes. We are starting at 22. And we are trying to get to 34. So are we counting onward? I'm sorry, are we counting forward or are we counting backwards? Remember, when we count forward, the numbers get bigger. When we count backwards, the numbers get smaller. I'm starting at 22. I'm trying to get to 34. Yes, we're counting forwards because my numbers are going to get bigger. So I'm going to start at 22 and I'm trying to get to 34. So 22 and then 34. Let me just, maybe I'll do it this way. Okay, so I'm starting at 22. I'm trying to get to 34. And I'm counting onward from 22 or forward from 22 because when I count forward, my numbers get bigger. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and I ran out of room. I'm so sorry. So I started with 22, and I'm trying to get to 34. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. And I counted it again because we always check our work. First grade who has done Get Ready always check their work. All right, next one. We are going to start at 10, 10, this 10, 10. And we are trying to get to we are trying to get to 3. So we're starting at 10 and we're trying to get to 3. Check my hand there. Are we counting forward or are we counting backwards? Remember, when we count forwards, the numbers get bigger, and when we count backwards, the numbers get smaller. So are we counting forward or backwards? Yes, we're counting backwards because the numbers get smaller. Last one I'm helping you with. Actually, this time I want you guys to do it yourself. I have starting at 10 and I'm trying to get to 3. We're counting backwards because when we count backwards, the numbers get smaller. So I want you to fill in the numbers between 10 and 3. Make sure you start at 10 and you get to 3. Start at 10, get to 3. Go. Great job. All right. If you decided that 9 comes after 10, before 10, if you got this, you are correct. Let's say it out loud. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. If you got that, you are correct. Great job. All right, we're going to play one more round. This time you're going to do it by yourself. I'm going to give you 2 numbers. We got to decide if we're counting forward or if we're counting backwards. All right, we're going to start at 29, and we have to get to 33. Are we counting forward or are we counting backwards? Remember, when we count forward, the numbers get bigger. When we count backwards, the numbers get smaller. So yes, we are counting forward because the number is getting bigger. We're starting at 29, we're trying to get to 33. We're starting at 29, we're trying to get to 33. So 29, we're trying to get to 33. You can fill in, you can pause the video and fill in the missing numbers. Remember, you're starting at 29, you're getting to 33. You can pause the video, go. All right, great job. If you got these numbers, you are correct. If we start at 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, that's the number we started with. That's the number we got to. All right. This time you're going to do it by yourself. We're going to start at 24, and we are trying to get to 39. Remember, when we count forward, the numbers get bigger. When we count backwards, the numbers get smaller. Are we counting forward or are we counting backwards? Yes, we are counting forwards because the number is getting bigger. By yourself, start with 24 and get to 39. Start with 24 and get to 39. You guys did such a good job today. Remember, the thinking job was how can we figure out if we count onward or if we count backwards from any number? And you guys did such a great job thinking about that question this whole time. Great job today.